So today we're going to put the our motherboard into the Graphite Series 70AT case, the Corsair. So once again, it's the MSI Z170a Gaming Pro Carbon we're going to be putting in. Here's the back plate. So this essentially, we're going to put this in now. If you're having deja vu like me, we already did this with our 230T case, but because of this bad boy here, the Corsair H110i, we had to buy a bigger case. So essentially it's going to be the same as for the 730T. The only difference is that we have a lot more space to work with. So here, once again, we're going to just put this this I/O shield in. We've already made sure that it lines up correctly with all of our inputs and outputs over here. And then we will just kind of push it in. This time, I'm going to be sure to make sure I get all four corners to snap in. Otherwise, I'll have to put things in twice, and it's not fun. Okay, that's one lower corner, and okay, good. Looks like all four corners are in, and that is it for this step. So today we're going to be installing our MSI Z170a Gaming Pro Carbon motherboard into our Corsair 780T case. So I'm already grounding myself to the case. This case has a fair amount of plastic on it. Plastic is a non-conductor, so you want to be a little bit cautious how you ground yourself. Make sure you're grounding yourself to metal. I got my motherboard over here. I can just make sure that if I am going to discharge, I can discharge on something that is not a problem like these screw holes here, but obviously you don't want to discharge it all on the motherboard. Alright, so I think I'm all grounded. I'm going to pick up the motherboard itself, and the job now is just to get it into the right place here on in the case. Now obviously one of the main things you always have to be concerned about is where are the standoffs in the case. Now the Corsair cases are usually pretty good. One thing I'm going to do is I'll pull this out for a bit. Place it down here. We're going to be trying to get this main standoff right in the center. We have all these A's are the ATX standoffs. You can see that there's also the smaller size, the M. But we're basically aiming for these guys, and this guy's got to be right in the center. So the main obstacle I have right now is just that I have this one fan cable, which is kind of getting in the way here. So I want to get that out of the way. Probably should have gotten this out of the way ahead of time. But I think I didn't. It just kind of fell back down into that place. So, alright, so now it's a matter of, can I get this guy? Okay, that's going to slide in nicely. And then it's a matter of, do we get... Okay, there we go. Oh, that's great. So once this this center standoff right there, of course you're looking at the wrong thing, cameraman. I'm pointing at one thing, you're looking at another. So my cameraman is showing what he's interested in, which is that these I/O ports are nicely lined up here. And I'm mainly concerned, the main guiding factor I'm using is, I'm looking for this main standoff here, because that's how I know that I have it right. So it's got to have this standoff coming through, and then these I/O ports need to also be flush against here. So my cameraman just showed you that those are okay. We have the standoff in the center. Now we're all set to start screwing things in. I want to make sure that my screwdriver is magnetized, and it is. So let's start with this one screw right here. We're not gonna. Once again, I like to loosely tighten things in the beginning, and then I will go back in later, and I will tighten them down after all the screws are in. This case, there's a lot more room to play with, so I'm finding it looks like all the holes lined up right from the get-go, which probably means that I have the back plate in properly this time. And of course, the first time I had a hard time getting this back plate fully, fully inserted against the 230T case. So this 780T case is giving me plenty of room. It's a good newbie case just because of all the room you get. So here, just have a couple more screws to screw in. Okay, so we're just about ready to tighten down all the screws. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws, and then that one center standoff. So I'm really at this point just going back through and making sure that things are tight. I want things just to be tight enough, just snug enough so that I don't have a problem with the board jostling around at all. This guy here was giving me a little bit of, I thought it was tighter than it was, but then I guess it was cross-threaded a little bit, so just be careful of cross-threading. You don't want to do that. Any iron filings are not going to be friendly with your CPU motherboard here, so that's another reason why I like to clean up after I get everything in and use the air to blow off any possible dust and iron filing that might have gotten onto the motherboard during installation. Okay, so I think we are just about done. The last thing I do is just to use a finger test, obviously making sure that I'm grounding my fingers first, but once I feel that things are snug, especially in the corners here, then I know that the motherboard's good, nice and solid. So we're done.